Andy Cohen confronts Rinna about trashing RHOBH. Andy Cohen had an awkward interaction with Rinna over her shady comments about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The Bravo head honcho was less than thrilled with the former soap star over something she said on a recent podcast. When she visited the set of his SiriusXM show, Andy quickly addressed the elephant in the room. This isn't the first time Lisa has made a shady comment about the franchise. In 2023, after announcing her exit, she told Interview magazine that she hated her final season and hinted that she got an unfair edit from the production team. Lisa has seen a resurgence in her career since leaving RHOBH, finding her stride as a fashion model, even signing with an agency in 2024. It seemed she had moved on from the Bravo series and put all that drama behind her. However, she recently slammed the show and compared RHOBH to the Titanic. Andy Cohen confronts RHOBH alum, Rinna. Lisa appeared as a guest on Radio Andy, where he expressed discontent regarding her RHOBH comment. "Why are you saying that the show is the Titanic?" said Andy. "You're on a podcast last week, you mouth off." "Hello, have you met me?" Lisa interjected. Andy said he thought she had moved on from the show and expressed surprise at the hurtful comment. "I'm sorry I hurt your feelings," said Lisa, sharing that she also spoke to her friend, RHOBH star Erica Jane, about the situation. The brunette beauty reasoned that Erica did not admit to being hurt by the comment, but she apologized to the Pretty Mess singer anyway. "Your friend is still on the show, so it's not just about me," continued Andy. "I said I was sorry," responded Lisa. "You know, I put my foot in my mouth." Lisa's non-apology to Andy falls flat. Lisa was squirming in her seat as Andy continued to address the situation. At one point, the 60-year-old changed her tune, exclaiming, "That show's going to go on and on and on." However, when Andy continued to grill her, she switched things up again and doubled down on her previous comment. "I meant to say Titanic and I said it, and I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Let's move on," she said to Andy, who also noted that RHOBH was having one of their best seasons. As for Lisa's apology, he wasn't exactly buying it. "I mean, you're not a housewife anymore, but that was a little bit of an old-school housewife apology," said Andy. "It was a non-apology apology." The lights in the Bravo clubhouse were dimmed just enough to set the stage for what everyone in the room knew was about to be a must-watch confrontation. Andy Cohen sat back in his chair, sipping his cue card like it was a cocktail, his eyes scanning the notes that weren't really necessary. He already knew what needed to be asked. Across from him, Rinna sat with her signature smirk, the one that had both charmed and infuriated Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans for years. But tonight, the charm wasn't working. The smirk didn't hide the tension vibrating off her body. "So Lisa," Andy began, his voice deceptively casual, "you've had a lot to say about RHOBH since you left." Lisa tilted her head, lips pursing as if to release an exaggerated sigh, but instead she leaned forward, her glossy bob catching the studio lights. "Oh, Andy, come on," she said, a half-laugh escaping. "You're acting like I committed a crime." Andy gave a tight-lipped smile. "Well, I don't know, Lisa. When a former housewife spends months, no years, trashing the show that made her a household name, it raises some eyebrows." Lisa crossed her arms, shifting in her chair. "Trashing, or just telling the truth?" Andy raised a brow. "The truth? Let's see, you've called the show phony, said the producers play favorites, claimed the cast is lazy, and my personal favorite, that Bravo needs to do a complete rehaul of the entire franchise. Do you stand by all that?" Lisa didn't blink. "I do." Andy exhaled through his nose, setting his cue cards down. "All right then, let's get into it." A montage of Lisa's most infamous social media posts and interviews played on the screen behind them. In one, she was on a podcast declaring, "They were lucky to have me. The show is stale without me." In another, a now infamous Instagram comment, "I carried that cast for years, and they know it." Andy turned back to Lisa, whose face was unreadable. "Lisa, do you really believe you carried the show?" Andy asked, leaning in slightly. Lisa shrugged. "I think I brought a lot to the table. Look at the iconic moments, who stirred the pot, who pushed the story forward. Love me or hate me, I made things happen." Andy let out a small laugh, shaking his head. But don't you think there's a difference between stirring the pot and completely blowing it up? Lisa tapped her manicured nails on the armrest. I call it making good TV. Andy's expression darkened. Let's talk about your exit. Lisa let out a huff, crossing her legs. Oh, here we go. Yes, here we go, Andy repeated, his tone sharper now. You've insinuated multiple times that you weren't really fired, that you left on your own terms. But sources, including some very credible ones, have said that Bravo was more than ready to move on without you. Lisa laughed, but it didn't reach her eyes. Sources? Come on, Andy, we both know how this works. I walked away because it wasn't fun anymore. The show became something different. Andy leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. Or was it because the audience turned on you? A flicker of something, anger, frustration, regret, passed over Lisa's face, but it was gone as quickly as it appeared. The audience always needs a villain, she countered. I played my role. But did you take it too far? Andy pressed. Between the Kathy Hilton situation, your relentless attacks on Sutton, and even the way you treated Garcelle, did you ever step back and think, maybe I'm going too hard? Lisa sighed dramatically. Look, I regret some things, sure. The way things played out with Kathy, I didn't expect the backlash. I thought I was just revealing the truth. Andy gave her a skeptical look. Or were you just trying to create a moment? Lisa looked away for a beat, then back at Andy. Isn't that what this whole show is about? Andy sat back, considering her words. Maybe. But there's a difference between creating a moment and completely detonating friendships for the sake of a storyline. Lisa's lips pressed into a thin line. That's rich, coming from the man who created this franchise. Andy chuckled. But his eyes were sharp. Fair. But I don't go on social media and call the show trash after I leave it. Lisa waved a hand. Oh, please. You know how this business works. It's all just part of the game. Andy tilted his head. Is it, or is it bitterness? Lisa stiffened slightly. Bitterness? Andy, let's be real. I made that show interesting for years, and now it's a snooze fest. Andy sighed, shaking his head. Lisa, do you even want to be part of the Bravo world anymore? She hesitated for the first time. I don't know, she admitted, her voice softer now. It's been a big part of my life. But I also feel like I outgrew it. Andy nodded slowly. Maybe you did, but that doesn't mean you have to burn it all down on your way out. Lisa looked at him for a long moment. Maybe you're right, she finally said. Maybe I just needed to process it all. Andy softened. I get that. Look, Lisa, you were a huge part of RHOBH. You brought unforgettable moments, and you kept us all entertained. But there's a way to walk away without throwing grenades. Lisa sighed. Not really my style, huh? Andy smirked. Not in the slightest. Lisa laughed, a real one this time. Maybe I should work on that. Andy leaned back. Wouldn't hurt. The tension lifted just a little, but the damage had been done. Rinna might never fully make peace with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but for now at least she had faced the music, and in the world of Bravo, that was more than most ever did.